Hello everybody, Corie here. Well, I guess I'm gonna do it. I've decided to do a commute video. I've thought about it for a while because I always want to do some videos and just talk to everybody, and I seem to never have time to do that. Of course, then I didn't want to do the commute videos because I didn't want to feel like I was ripping Rod off, but yeah, he sort of has nudged me and suggested that I go ahead and do them. In fact, he called it Corie's Commute, so I guess that's what I will title this video. Now, I normally go to work in the office on Mondays, so I will try to do it, when I go to work then, but I don't want to do a video just to do a video either, so I will try my best to have a topic or something. Otherwise, I definitely will just be rambling on about anything and everything, and it may not make any sense whatsoever. I do live about 45 minutes or so from Fort Knox, so I do have quite a bit of a drive, but I only have to go in 2 days a pay period, which is 2 days every 2 weeks. So I chose to go in on Mondays. Just so happens this past Monday, of course, as y'all know, the last few weeks, well, since the first of the month, we've had sickness in our house. Me more than anybody else, but my daughter's been sick as well. But anyway, one thing I didn't think about until I went to start this video is that I won't get my directions on how to get to work. And that's what happens, nowadays with GPSs. Well, at least with me anyway. I don't necessarily try to learn things if I don't have to. But anyway, sorry. Y'all think it's bad when I do my videos with all my spreadsheets. Now I've got to do two things and think about what I want to say to you, but also drive at the same time. So I may get a little distracted here. So I live out in the country, so there's lots of back roads before I can get to some sort of highway. So I live on, these are a bunch of, one lane type roads here. But anyway, on the topic of rambling, that's basically what I have done here. Now, I also apologize, and I know y'all hate it, or a lot of you hate it when I apologize, but I meant to bring my husband's car today because when we got brand new phones back in November, I finally broke down and spent that money. But my husband hit a deer with my car, or the deer hit my car, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's when we got new phones and car holders, and my car was out of commission for a couple of months, so I never got one. And I rarely drive anyway, but then my husband works nights and I forgot to get that. So you are getting to see half of my steering wheel. I'll see, it won't be this next week, but maybe in the next week or two I can order something from Amazon. But the topic that I wanted to talk about today, and I know it looks like I'm 4 minutes in here already, just rambling, is how...
In 1 mile, turn right.
Oh, well, I guess I do get directions. I'm sure y'all hear that. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. I apologize for it if it is loud. But how did I get here? So a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and how did I get here? How did I get to doing YouTube videos? And I'm going to start with 2 years ago. And then also give you the backstory of my happy camper thing, which, by the way, I did bring my hat right here, but I didn't want to put it on because then I would flatten my hair. Not that I'd really care too much about those types of things, but I'll wear it after work today. was I at?
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
I swear I have ADD. I don't know. Anyway, let me think about where I'm going or where I'm at. Okay. Let me get past this in case y'all can't hear the directions.
Turn right.
All right, a couple of years ago, I lived in E-Town, Kentucky, and before then, I told my husband, so before then, let's get a little bit back. We're Fort Bliss, Kentucky. I had to go to Sergeant Major Academy for a year at Fort Bliss, and I basically told my husband that if we went and he came with me, that we would finally buy this RV that we wanted forever. So, long story short, we went to Fort Bliss, Kentucky, and lived in our RV for a year, and we absolutely loved it. And we had
in 1 mile, turn right.
We had talked about selling our house and just living in our RV. And then when we came back, we came back to our house, which is like, I know in the Citizen of the Year Discord, I know y'all have seen it, but came back to our, 3,300 plus square foot house from our little bitty RV. And then, you just realize, like, it's so unnecessary to have that space. It's awesome, but it's really not necessary at the same time. And I remember telling my husband, we were sitting on the front porch one day.
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
If our house ever, got up to some specified dollar amount, that we would just sell it. And, that was it. We watched it, as probably some homeowners do. Ooh, look at the, how much our house is worth.
Turn right.
That's cool. Or how Zillow says it's worth a certain amount of money. But you're like, yeah, there's no way. But, with the hot housing market, things have happened over the past few years. Several years, I feel like, in fact. But anyway, we finally just started looking for land. We had been looking online, or I had been looking. Let's see. I was trying to see if I could close out my directions now. There we go. We've been looking forever for land, online, and we weren't really going to places, and we weren't finding, what we were wanting and whatever else. But we just kept looking and looking and looking. We wanted some place with lots of acreage, with a pond and something we could put our RV on. And we just weren't finding it. Eventually, we found land. It's been almost 2 years ago now. And we found land. It was about 45 minutes to an hour away from Fort Knox, which is what I did not want to do, because I lived in Tennessee near Alabama, and I drove to Nashville every day for most of my adult life for work, and I spent an hour and a half almost one way every day. And but we finally broke down and did it. Of course, when I did it, it was an assumption that we were able to continue to telework, which so far has worked out for us, and worked out for me anyway. My husband's only like 35 minutes from work. But anyway, so we jumped in and we just bought land. And then we put a contract on it, and that was in May. And then a couple of months, I think then we talked about the house and stuff, and then decided, why don't we just try to sell it? We'll see what happens. Which is what we did with the land. Let's see what happens. And we just jumped in. And I usually don't do things without planning. That is not me. But But yeah, I started getting the house together because, of course, I never, out of all the houses I've had, I've never finished remodeling them or doing what I was going to do to them until it was time to sell the house. I never get finished. So we hadn't even still unboxed for moving moving up to Kentucky to begin with for our job from 2016. So then I had to get my entire house, got to finish painting the other half of the house, and making it look good and livable, because half of our house probably wasn't truly livable. It was just packed with all of our boxes for moving there. And sure enough, the first week of July, I guess I'm going into too much in details here. First week of July, all these years I hadn't had COVID. Went camping in our RV and got COVID. While I was camping, the house I tried to list it on Zillow, and something happened and it didn't get posted. So it finally got posted while we were on vacation, which was irritating because there's no way I could show anybody the house. Then I came back, had COVID, still couldn't show the house, and then that next weekend, about having, about 6 or 7 something days, I guess like a week later, I had an open house. And from that open house was where we got an offer on our house, and we ended up selling it. Of course, I don't know. It's just sort of like when we bought our house in Tennessee. We're like, oh, let's just go look. And next thing I know, we bought a house. I don't know why I do things that are such big ticket things like that real quick. But then it was like, well, we can, we'll move out there on the land in our RV and we'll build a house and everything else. Well, that was our talks 2 years ago. And then in August, so for 2024, so in August of 2022, we finally closed on this house. It was in an estate, and we had to wait on all that stuff to settle. And then y'all probably haven't seen it here unless you're in the Citizen of the Year Discord, because I don't really talk about a lot of personal things or share pictures or anything in the Retire on Dividends Discord. It's just it's a lot going on, right? We have not a lot of personal stuff in there, at least for me, and especially nowadays with YouTube. But anyway, so we bought this land, 37 acres, with this old house that's not livable. Though people did live in it before us, it is not a livable house. But they had a well and a septic tank. Of course, the pump and the well didn't work. We couldn't move on the land. It was many months later, blah, blah, blah. And we cleaned out the cistern that was there, and we filled it up with water. So we moved to the land in January of 2023, or actually, I'm sorry, December of 2022, because I had to go to pre-command course. I had yearly training briefs. I had Sergeant Major Symposium, Command Sergeant Major things with the division, and for months. So like the first 3 months of the year last year, I was gone almost all the time, and we were now going to be out of our comfort zone with our daughter and moving and being in the middle of nowhere, and just lots of change and everything happening. But we needed to be on the land for our daughter to catch the school bus, because I had been driving her every day from this piece of land that we rented out. Had a little RV site on it for months in between selling our house and getting on the land. And so that made us get out there, and then that's where we have been ever since. But, I'm like, I'm cool, living in the RV, it's good, I don't have to have a house, blah, blah, blah. But even though my husband, he was one of the ones, right, that there's two of us that wanted to sell our house and live in the RV, he sort of has made the decision that he wants the house. And mainly it came from when I was gone those first few months last year, that he was home alone by himself, and anything that happened he had to take care of, and our water froze. Some things happened on the RV itself. just things happened, and so that sort of put a sourness in his mouth, so to speak, from all of that. But anyway, last year, 15 minutes in, right? Last May, so almost a year ago now, I was like, fine. I need to look at our finances. We need to get in order and see where we're at. I've been saving money up every month because I got in this, then I got in this Dave Ramsey thing where, I want to pay cash for things, right? So I was doing a budget and, making sure, I was putting money in savings before that, but I was doing all this stuff, and then I decided I wanted to pay cash for the house. So then, things lead to where they lead, but it got me deep down in finances. Well, in the end, then I started getting into retirement. Then I started getting into our retirement accounts and the stocks and just everything else, and trying to figure out where to go forward here. And then, did I want to put more money in our retirement accounts, or did I want to keep money out to build a house, and so on. Well, this led me to investing. And I want to tell you, ever since I was a little kid, I've been good with numbers. And I was good at math. I'm not, into all that depth stuff anymore, so don't ask me. Maybe algebra. But I've always been good at math. In middle school, I did. Back then, it was sort of unheard of. But I took honors and took honors in high school, and all the calculus, all the stuff in college. But what little bit I went, and I was just good at math. And I was always told that I should be an accountant. So I decided to go to college to be an accountant. I remember in one of my college classes, they were talking about stocks and the stock market, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I remember, I don't know why, some things just don't click on as fast. And I remember being in that class and learning that stuff, and I'm like, this stuff is way over my head. And from that day forward, I really wanted nothing to do with stocks or the stock market or anything. And I just tried to block it all out. Obviously, we have our retirement accounts, but, back then I did the L funds and the TSP, the dated funds, which I found that's not really the best way to go. So I have changed the way I allocate my retirement accounts now. But anyway, that's what led me to the stock market. Then I spent, many months trying to, figure it out, investing. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And I still, honestly, I don't have a plan. Yep, I don't have a plan. If I think I have a plan, then I'll change it. I'm still trying to test the waters and figure things out. But when I first started, I did one of the biggest mistakes, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to throw in this full amount of money. I'm going to have all this money. I'm just going to split it up in all these stocks I pick. And I did. I don't know how many it was, but I put like around $500 a piece in all these different ones. JEPQ, I think, was one of them. In fact, I know it was one of them. And then there was a bunch of other ones, some REITs, and just a bunch of them out there. And that's the way I started. And then we came to, September and stuff, and then everything tanked. And that was my first time that's ever happened, and then I got scared and had all these money out there and everything. Now I will say at that point I did already invest in Tesla. I think I did that in August, because I remember looking back, and I don't think it was that bad back then. Who knows? I might not even have been in. I only did a little bit at a time, because again, I was scared, and I'm still technically scared. I've just gotten a little bit more comfortable, so obviously the dollar amount that I have invested has increased. However, I will say that for many, many, many years, the bulk of my money has just been sitting in a savings account, and I've learned that was not the best choice. If I would have just taken some time to learn more about my retirement accounts, even so much as the small thing is the difference between traditional and Roth, because I just never wanted to learn, and it took less than 5 minutes, and it's like, shoot, I'm stupid. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, believe it or not. I know, I do it a lot. But, sorry, what got me is I was thinking about how slow we were going here, about 40 or so in a 55. But I was watching, I don't know, somehow I got on one of Ethan's emails. Maybe it's because I was looking into Tesla, I don't know. And, I don't know how many emails, YouTube videos. I don't know how many I'd watched at this point. But, sorry, I just realized I need my ID. And anyway, eventually he mentions retire on dividends. And so that's how I made it to watching Mark with retire on dividends. And then, I eventually joined the Discord. And then I felt bad, right? I don't remember how many people we had at that time. That was somewhere around August, I guess. But it seemed like so many people were able to contribute a lot of information and stuff to the group. And I just remember feeling so bad that I was like, I don't know anything. And I can't there's nothing I can contribute. And then one day they were talking about earnings, and they were, talking about who's earning, when's whoever's earnings. Anyway, Rod had asked, if somebody could gather that information. So what do? I go out there, and then I look all of them up, and then I, do screenshots of all of it and then throw it in the Discord. And then he asked if somebody would take that information and, consolidate it versus having, I don't know, 10 or so screenshots. I don't remember how many tickers we had at that time, or ETFs. And so then I did that. And then I worked with him, creating the spreadsheet the way he wanted, with the colors and the symbols on them and everything else. And that's how that spreadsheet was born. So it's actually the first thing that I've been able to do that would benefit the group. Maybe, I don't know. It might not have benefited. I don't know. Most of you probably don't care. But I know I like to see when the earnings are. So that's how that started. And then, eventually, the group started getting bigger. And I don't know how much far it was after that. Probably not too long after. And, we were talking about organizing and, doing things so I can somewhat do that, right? I tried to do that. And, then I became the first moderator for the group. Eventually, the group got, so big that we had to, we brought on some more people that we trusted within the community. So we have our own little group of moderators there. But then, Rod kept trying to get me, I do spreadsheets, and I had done other spreadsheets within the community and shared them and provided data and information. And then Rod, told me I should, take on NVIDIA was the one he was wanting. He was trying to get me to do. I did start building a spreadsheet, which I was, this was for I actually was building, I say it's for my personal use, but I was using it for my own personal use. I built it, and I was sending screenshots to the Discord and trying to share things. But, sometimes in the Discord, things can get buried, in conversations and everything else. And people may not scroll back up, right, and look at everything that was said. And now we have almost a couple of thousand, I think, people within the Discord. So anyway, eventually one weekend I just decided my workbooks wasn't, fully, I'm very tedious and want my workbooks to be just perfect before I ever show anybody. But I just decided one weekend, you know what, I'm just going to show where we're at the end of the week of all the ETFs and where all the holdings were and where we ended up. And then Monday I just jumped in, and I was a little, give me just a second here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. You too. I think it was the next Monday. I don't remember if it was a holiday or not. This was in February. And didn't really want to do, the reason I was a little scared, because I didn't want to do one day and quit, right? It's sort of like, just jumping in feet first. And then I did it. I did it over the weekend. Then I did that next week. And I was like, okay, if I do day 1, I have to do day 2 and day 3. And now here we are at the end of April, and I'm still doing them. I haven't missed a day yet. Of course, the videos have grown. I've had to break them out from trades and holdings to just a daily roundup, because some people want to watch one versus the other, and some people may watch both. I couldn't tell you. I'm not even a YouTube person. I don't even know how much most of this stuff works. I'm like Rod. I'm just recording on my iPad and all of the ins and outs of looking at everything in YouTube, and I don't even know. But that's how I've gotten to where I'm at. I really just like being able to help and share information. But my life is spreadsheets. And I know people ask us this all the time, what do you do? So in the Army, when I joined originally 20-something years ago, I joined as an accounting specialist. Since then, I've done accounting specialist. I've been a paralegal specialist, administrative specialist. I've done lots of things. I've deployed to Iraq, done computer stuff there, and now I basically, until I guess a few months ago, I was a command sergeant major, but now I'm back in the G8 realm, which is finance and comptroller. So I'm a G8 sergeant major on the military side, and then on my civilian side, I also work for the government, and I'm a budget analyst. So my job all day long is to work in spreadsheets. That's what I do. I work with spreadsheets all day. I try to learn new things. I've been doing it for quite a bit now, but I love spreadsheets. It reminds me of a cup that I've seen somebody have at work before, and I'm sure some of you or Rod might have seen it also, but it's a cup and it has like spreadsheets on it. It says "freak in the sheets." I know some of you probably don't think that's funny, but anyway, I love spreadsheets, and so that was something that I could do and contribute to the community, I guess, to wrap that up. And so then again, I took that to YouTube and trying to spread this out there. Now, please note, and I know I've said this in videos, but I can't say the same thing every day in all videos. I'll never remember. Plus, it makes the videos a lot longer, and I know most of you don't want to see it. But just because I do the videos and I show you where the trades are, I show you the holdings, I show you how they affect the stock price and everything else, does not mean I'm telling you to invest in these. Some days I'm like, should I be invested in these? And then I see things, I'm like, you know what? I need to write that down, because I have reasons, because the money that I'm using, I don't necessarily just want to put it in the market and leave it for 10 years. I would like to be able to build a house in 5 years, but at this point, I'm never going to get around to drawing up some plans to be able to do that and figure out what I'm wanting, which is actually what started this journey a year ago, is getting money and getting started. But I just don't have the money right at this point, after the year or two we've had. If I just throw all my money in the market, and if we do go into recession in the next year or so, now what am I going to do? Because, that was my money to build a house. Now, obviously, I don't have enough right now to build a house, and I was hoping inflation and all that stuff would go down, so prices would go down for lumber and metal and everything else, and I can get better interest rate if I ended up having to borrow some money to work to build the house. But yeah, and following these and tracking these, and if y'all watched some of the videos that I have, if the market is down, at least with the ETFs usually are better, depending on how far down we are. If we're just like negative 0.02 or something, it's a coin toss. But I've noticed when especially in the last week or so, where we've just been down, these ETFs have done better than the underlying. So now what I have decided to do is that I am buying some of the underlying. So I'm buying some of both. And, reminder, this is not financial advice. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have a strict plan at this point. And I will say it's really hard buying the underlying, because as you see it go up, it's really hard, that emotion, not to sell it. But, I'm just buying in a little here and there. And honestly, before doing the YouTube videos, I had quite a bit of time and to, analyze everything and have my spreadsheet updated with all my trades and exactly what I wanted and what price I wanted things at. And since doing YouTube, I haven't had time to do that. My spreadsheet's not updated. I got money everywhere and all of my different accounts, and I'm a little lost. So yeah, I don't know. It'll all work out in the end. But I know this was a really long video and probably went into more detail than most of you wanted, but this is going to be my, my personal video, is to at least, how did I get here? How did I get to investing? How did I get to the ride community? And how did I get to doing the videos that I do? But anyway, I will let y'all go. I am now officially at work, and I will talk to all of you later.